It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
A win is a win is a win for the Golden State Warriors. But I have more questions than answers coming out of that victory for Golden State, 110-106 against the Trailblazers. But can we really call them the Blazers yesterday? They're missing like all their good players. Although Shaedon Sharpe turned into Shannon Sharpe yesterday. Unbelievable game from him. Anthony Simons. So those two kept him in the game. You got Jabari Walker out of Colorado University off the bench with another 12. And it was scrappy. So the Portland off Trailblazers, you like that? Off the trail, off the beaten path. Almost a 1. That's all right. I'll take that at 5:01 a.m. Almost get away with it. But Steve Kerr came to his senses in the third quarter. Steve going to Jonathan freaking Kaminga, who didn't play a lick up until about 5 minutes left to go in the third, plays the rest of the game, and is the key and is the spark to a Golden State Warriors victory that they desperately needed. Because I still have a lot of questions, even in a win, a very close win against a bad Blazers team. But I would have had a freaking phone book full of them had they lost to that team. They got the win, so that's fine. And that's the most important thing. I don't care how it's done. And we kind of talked about that yesterday, right? Like, hey, the Warriors, can you like build up a huge lead and then just not blow it? Let's have that. And then I kind of backtracked. I was like, actually, you know what? You know what this team needs? You need a close win for the mentals to know that they can get past, anyone. And yes, even a bad Blazers team on the road for the Blazers and hosting on Draymond Green bobblehead night. And Draymond Green, hey, he set up the play of the game. It was an alley-oop. Tim Roy, take it away.
Draymond steps down the lane, lob for Wiggins, or Kaminga, two-hand slam. Jonathan Kaminga at the rim with a dunk. Draymond with a beautiful pass. 105-101.
Huge. Now, that wasn't the play of the game because that goes to Mr. Clutch himself, Stephen Curry. After Shaedon Sharpe had answered back with a three-pointer, Steph's like, don't worry, guys. I got this.
Curry gets Simons with 7, with 6, right side, step back 3 off the dribble. Got it! It's good! Timeout, Portland. And the Warriors lead by 4, 108-104. Clutch, Stephen Curry.
Night, see you later. 110-106 the final. The Warriors improved to 10-11, 5-6 at home. The Blazers fall to 6-14, 4-9 on the road. 888-957-9570. What did you come away with in that victory, Warriors fans? Was it, I'm just happy we just got a damn win? Just, I don't give a damn how it looked. Although Klay Thompson struggled mightily, 3 of 13. Andrew Wiggins, 3 of 12. Not good shooting performances from either of them. Curry did his thing. 8 of 18, 31 points. They're going to need those performances. I think that's just what it's going to be this season. It's Stephen Curry, then who else is going to step up? And I'm not here to say that's a recipe for sustainability to win a championship, but that's a recipe to try to get into the playoffs right now. Stephen Curry and who else? Well, last night, got a couple people. Dario Saric, who in the first half did not look all that impressive. 4 turnovers. Like, what are you doing, Dario? And then came alive. 13 points, 4 of 7, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. He was huge. 2 huge offensive boards. Kind of missing his own little layups there in the fourth quarter. Tie the game. And then you got the man of the day, the man of the night, what have you. Jonathan Kaminga. The candle stays lit for Jonathan Kaminga. Now, this wasn't a playoff game, and it wasn't Lonnie Walker, but it was Jonathan Kaminga. The guy that's been on your team. The guy that you drafted in the top 10. The guy that you probably want to see play a little more, right? Well, he didn't even get any run till damn near the end of the third quarter. And then it felt like, in spite of everything, Jonathan's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be clutch here. I'm going to put the team on my back, and I'm going to help lead this team to a win. Hey, Jonathan, how good did that dunk feel?
I don't know. I think it always happens. It's just that connection with me and Draymond. It always happens, like, most of the time. It felt great to be up there, also.
I love the accent from a Kaminga. That's great. A lot of the non-American players having fun after the games yesterday. Luka with a couple of F-bombs. I think we'll get that audio here, maybe at the break. Luka, we're live. Oh, sorry. But you're allowed to in the post-game pressers. You're fine. Don't worry about it. More from Kaminga on how does he stay ready to contribute off the bench when, you know what, seemingly you've fallen out of the rotation. Obviously, going back to last year, the comments he made to CJ Holmes at the San Francisco Chronicle, being frustrated, not getting a lot of playing time, inconsistent. You know, Wiggins coming back, that basically isolated him on the bench, not getting damn near any run in the playoffs. It's got to have been tough. And then this year, the key for him was being more mature, right? A lot of the Warriors players talked about it. You know, just being ready, the grind, all of that, being locked in every single day, every single practice. Well, here's Kaminga talking about staying ready.
I mean, I'm always ready. So regardless, anytime, if my name haven't been called, but like I always say, I'm a professional. I know my job. I know my role. All that matters is just go out there and finish the job.
888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you just getting off work, getting ready for school, doing what you got to do this hour of the day. I appreciate you choosing the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. 888-957-957, the number to call or text the Comcast Biz text line. Also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube. We're doing a lot of subs here, man. We got 52,000. Come on. You can do better than that. Ring that bell. Like every single video you see. We appreciate it. And also, if you can't take us on YouTube, download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for all of your Golden State Warriors coverage, because we are the home of the Golden State Warriors right here again on 95.7 The Game. You can also download thousands of other music, sports, science, history, English. I'm just going down like the list of subjects in school, and I'm sure there's podcasts for all of them. PE. There you go. A little physical education for you. PED pods. PED is different. That's all right. But speaking of baseball, hot stove. Juan Soto to the Yanks. Huge. Cross him off the list, Giants fans. But we want the big shark. We want the big whale. We want the big marlin. We want Shohei Ohtani, right? Is it going to happen? Well, Giants, they've been secret about it. Shh. Is he turned into Voldemort during this free agency period? This period? He who shall not be named, Shohei Ohtani. Don't talk about that. His name is Tom Riddle. You call him that, but not Voldemort. Fear the name only gives credence to fear itself, or some crap like that, Hermione, right? Come on. He is the most sought-after free agent in what? The last, 2 decades in the sport? And we're supposed to be quiet about it? Oh, my God. Major League Baseball. It just can't seem to get it in its own way. Like every other sport, and Bonte alluded to this yesterday on the Morning Roast. Bonte and Joe Shasky, by the way, they'll be on at 6 o'clock. They're fired up. Huge win. But they were alluding to this yesterday. Like every other sport, the free agency period is like Christmas. We have entire shows dedicated to the start of these things. Whether it's the NFL, whether it's NBA, but Major League Baseball, we call it the hot stove. Why? Because it takes a little bit for the stove to get going. Right? I mean, if it's gas, not really. But I feel like this is like a crappy electric stove that takes forever to get going, especially for the Giants here in the Bay. They got money. They want to spend it. Will they? We'll see. A team that does like to spend, though, is the Golden State Warriors. And spend, they have. Joe Lacob invested a lot into this team. In the stars, Wiggins, Draymond, Steph, Clay. And we'll see with Clay moving forward if he's going to get another contract. Steve Kerr, he's trying to get paid. But when two of those four are not performing well, then your young guys have to step up. And Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins, to put it nicely, have struggled this season. Moses Moody, been a pleasant surprise. I would like to see him play more. I would like to see him close games, perhaps. There is an open spot to end the game there. And whether it's Wiggins, whether it's Clay, I don't know. But I need whoever the best player available is to close these games. It's got to be fluid at this point. Because as I mentioned at the top of the show, it's Stephen Curry and who else is going to step up. So in that case, ride the hot hand. And last night, it was Jonathan Kaminga. Here's Steve Kerr after the game talking about Kaminga being the key to the victory.
He was great. He was the key to the game. He stayed ready. He was out of the rotation just because it's hard to play 10 guys. And, frankly, Brandon and Moses have earned the minutes they're getting. And we obviously needed him. The game called for JK just with Portland's youth and athleticism. We needed to be able to match that and be able to score against their switches. And so I was so happy for JK that he stayed ready, came in and produced the way he did.
Stayed ready. And for a guy that has all the reason in the world to, be salty, be frustrated with his role, and he showed it. He showed some immaturity last year, going to the papers, going to CJ Holmes of the San Francisco Chronicle, being frustrated. You don't do that during a playoff series. You probably don't even do that at all for keeping it a buck. But you really don't do it in the midst of a playoff series against the Sacramento Kings and then leading into the Los Angeles Lakers series. Series, which in hindsight, they really could have used his athleticism. But maybe he wasn't mature enough, quote unquote, yet. And I'm not really buying that. I listed the immaturities, acts that he has done. But on the court, he needs to play if he's going to get better. That's just the rat on the table, brought to you by Atco Pest Control. I don't have the rat drop with me. There you go. Like, he just needed to play. And this season, the young guys need to be a major factor if the Warriors are going to win a title. I think that much is true. Kaminga, Moody, and Podziemski need to have roles. All three of them. For this team to have a chance later on. I truly believe that. And more so Kaminga and Moody. Podziemski's a rookie. If you can get something from him, and you have this year, and get some playoff minutes, if they make the playoffs, knock on wood if you're with me. That'd be great. But you needed that size and athleticism from Kaminga. Moody, with his infectious energy, with his efficiency, knowing where to be on the court. All of that. Because Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, these guys, they're old. A lot of wear and tear. They're not going to last. And Andrew Wiggins, who's supposed to be your young guy taking over for Klay, he's on a milk carton. Again, 3 of 12 last night. 0 of 1. Just 1 3-point shot. That's not falling this year for him. Was he shooting 10%?
But he had that fresh haircut, though.
Oh, God. Congratulations. His hairline looks nice. Mine's fading, so you know what? Don't take that for granted, kids. All right? I got to my 30s, though, so I'm pretty content with where I'm at. Although, I am shameless. So salespeople, if you are listening at 5:15 a.m., I will do the hair plugs if you pay for them. I'm not embarrassed.
Shameless shout-outs Friday at 7:45.
There you go. Just start naming all of our sales rep people that are right behind us and let's take the mic out there. All right, you. I don't know any of their names. I know like 3 of them. And they stand right next to us, Sam. How many names do you know of the sale people, real quick?
Let's see. I feel like pretty confident 4 or 5.
Wow, okay, there you go. You're good. You hang out there more than me. I'm stuck in the booth, though, most of the day, so maybe I have somewhat of an excuse. But I should probably introduce myself since we're literally like standing right next to each other half the time. Hey, you. That doesn't cut it.
Champ. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
It's like we've been working like near each other for 3 months now. Yeah. That's mean. It's messed up. I need to be better. Wiggins needs to be better.
They want us to know their names too.
Yes, exactly. That's a fact. Very intimidating, some of these salespeople, believe it or not. Steve Kerr on how hard it is to predict the rotation every single night.
Every night's going to be different with this team. That's what I'm finding out. You know, what we need each night seems to be different depending on the matchup, depending on how the game's going. It's hard to predict what's going to happen each night. It's also hard to play 10 or 11 guys. So I don't think we know. You know, I think I said it to you guys last week. I mean, we have a deep team, a deep roster, but we don't have roster clarity in terms of, you know, who's going to play every single night. And so everybody's just got to stay ready. And I'm really proud of JK that he did that, and he was really the reason we won.
Deep roster. Deep in the sense that they have a lot of the same players. I think Anthony Slater said it best yesterday when he was on with Shasky and Bonte, and you can find the entire interview, Anthony Slater, on 95.7 The Game Warriors Insider, and obviously covers the team at a very high level for The Athletic. But Slater, you know, was basically insinuating, yeah, they're deep, but it's a lot of the same type of players. It's not like they're deep at every single position, at every single height. Very redundant, I think the word Shasky used yesterday, and I tend to agree when it comes to this rotation. Here's Slater talking about it yesterday and kind of alluding and piggybacking off what Steve Kerr said there.
I mean, there's rotation questions. Now, Gary Payton being out for kind of the foreseeable future, to me at least, makes it so you don't have to DNP Moody and Pajemski necessarily, but you know how our fans going to feel if Moody gets 12 minutes and Pajemski gets 8 or something like that tonight. I don't know, but you can't, if you are a 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, 10th man in the NBA rotation, like you don't play that much, and that's what those guys are profiled to be. Maybe there's ways Kirk can be a little bit more creative with it, suppress the Wiggins, Paul, Klay Thompson minutes down into the 20s. And he has said, depending on hot hand, he sounds like he's willing to be a little bit more flexible with like closing lineups, things like that. So we'll see. But that's the trouble with this team is they feel thin up top, right? Like you're sitting there like, who is Steph Curry's number 2 on this team? But they're almost too, like, you don't want to say too deep, but everyone feels so even.
Anthony Slater there on 95.7 The Game, Warriors Insider. Again, find the entire interview on YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. Anthony does a tremendous job joining the Morning Roast every single week. What did you come away with, Warriors fans, after that win last night? I came away with more questions than answers. Why aren't the young guys playing more? Why does this, whole rotation thing seems so difficult for Steve Kerr? Is it as simple as, you're dealing with a lot of egos here, a lot of sensitive people that need to be handled with care? Shout out Fragile. It's Italian. Those of you that got the reference, thank you. You should this time of year. Is it as simple as that? Like having a heart-to-heart with these guys? Hey, I don't know if you're going to be closing every single game. That's just the facts. If you're playing like crap, you don't deserve to close. Is that too simplistic? Let me know. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you just getting up. Appreciate you chiming in on the YouTube chat. Nicholas Lavrov, Jason, unapologetic Draymond apologist. I love that name. So good. Damon Chang, EJ, all y'all. Riz Master General. We got the Riz Master. Let's go. Jason Mishler. Jason, you chime in every morning. You upset that I'm a fan of a certain squad, that I'm talking about another one. That's all right. I'm very objective on this show. I have no emotion when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, which I think plays very well into the Steve Kerr conversation. Is just, it comes down to egos at the end of the day with this squad. And does Steve Kerr finally, does this Kaminga performance finally, you know what, stick him in the direction of, I just got to be ruthless and cutthroat? And this is what the head coach said after the game, breaking down what he saw throughout it.
Well, I thought Portland was fantastic defensively. We couldn't get anything going in the first half. They had ball pressure on every single guy who touched the ball. So they took us out of all of our stuff. At one point I looked, we had 12 assists and 15 turnovers, mid-third, late third. That's not like us. So I give Portland the credit. They have a young, hungry team, and they controlled most of the game. And then obviously Steph took over, and then Jonathan really changed the game.
We have a young and hungry team. Play the young and hungry guys more, if need be, is what I would say. 888-957-9570, the number to weigh in. Draymond Green bobblehead night. And listen, he showed out. Shooting-wise, not the best. But you know what? Got to the line a little bit. Got the boards. 6 offensive rebounds, by the way, for Draymond Green. Jeez. And I know they weren't going up against a huge team in Portland. It's impressive. 9 assists. That was a peak Draymond Green performance. Assist shy of a triple-double, by the way, for Draymond. Loon Dog feels like he's laboring a little bit this year, doesn't it? I don't know if it's, coming into the season, just not in the greatest peak condition, or it's just wear and tear. But Looney looks like he's laboring out there. And I would like to see a little bit more Jonathan Kaminga or Dario Saric, if you will, at times, like we saw yesterday, then Kevon. And I think that's going to be key when you go down the stretch and face some of these teams in the offs in the West, potentially. Right? What we saw from Dario yesterday, clutch. Kaminga, clutch. The key now is, can they be consistent? Like, that's great. We had a Kaminga performance, and Steve Kerr rode the hot hand, if you will. Is that going to carry over against OKC? Because time in and time out, we have seen in the past that these guys, the young guys, have a great performance, and then they go in a milk carton. Have you seen this player? No, I haven't. So is this finally the wake-up call for the Warriors? Against a bad Portland Trail Blazers team, you needed, outside of Stephen Curry, Jonathan Kaminga and Moses Moody to step up the way they did. Because you cannot count on Klay Thompson night in and night out anymore. Which is crazy to say now, because Klay Thompson's a future Hall of Famer, and obviously he's had multiple injuries, devastating injuries. And the fact that he's still, a starter in this league at this point, it's a credit to him and his work ethic and what kind of player he is. But all good things must come to an end. Moses Moody right now, he's just been more efficient, more consistent, more lively on defense. He's just been better than Klay Thompson. So whether that's, starting or closing the game, I need those minutes to drop. Slater alluded to it. Whether that's, getting Wiggins and Klay and Paul into the 20s minutes-wise and raising up everyone else's, maybe that's the key. And then you saw that last night. Andrew Wiggins, 27 minutes. Klay Thompson, 27 minutes. Chris Paul, 20 minutes. Kaminga basically got into the third quarter, 5 or 4 minutes to go there and finished the game. Moody, 26 minutes. Pajemski, 21. So you're starting to see a theme here, potentially. Maybe theme's a little strong because it was one game. Can't build a theme or a narrative after one game. And hopefully this isn't a one-off. So can the Warriors build more momentum heading against the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up tomorrow at 5 in Oklahoma? Never saw that Broadway show either. Very famous. Not for me. I'm not really... Musicals, they're whatever to me. I'm more of like a Shakespearean type of play. Those ones. When they start singing and stuff, Hamilton's doesn't do anything for me. Book of Mormon, very funny though. Saw that. South Park creators, Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Hilarious. Spam-A-Lot, funny. So maybe I'm into the comedic musicals, if you will. Those are good. I also saw, for all those Bruce Campbell fans out there, saw Evil Dead on Broadway, like, I don't know, 15 years ago. Oh, maybe longer than that. 16 years ago. They did like a play version of the great movie Evil Dead. Sam Raimi directed it. It's tremendous. 888-957-9570. I don't know how to segue off of that other than to just promote the phone lines. What did you see from the Warriors last night? Are you like me? Do you have more questions than answers after that win as the Warriors hang on to beat Portland 110-106? Does Kaminga need to be playing a lot more? The young guys? What's the answer right now for the Warriors? Did we see the blueprint last night? Let me know your thoughts on the win. Again, hit us up on YouTube, search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. It's all coming up next on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Don't go anywhere. 95.7 The Game.
It's the fall building season at Golden State Lumber and Building Materials, and there's still time to start a project before winter weather arrives. For decking options, Golden State offers high-quality decking products from Trex, the first company to create the natural beauty of reclaimed wood. And we carry...
Roy, and you're listening to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Love me some Last Christmas. George Michael, again, R.I.P., Careless Whisper, Last Christmas. Guy's catalog's incredible. Welcome in. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. You heard Tim Roy there on the rejoin. My guy, Tim Roy. Yeah, we're tight. He follows me on X, formerly Twitter. It's so funny whenever I'm reading an article, it's X and then it's in parentheses, formerly called Twitter. Is that going to stick? Is he only going to stick around? They're not doing so hot as far as the markets are concerned, but that's another type of show. 888-957-9570. Warriors 110. Trailblazers 106. Warriors get the much needed victory. Improved to 10-11 on the season. 5-6 at home. A lot of empty seats last night. What's gives? People aren't getting up for Shaden Sharp? Huh? Matisse Thybulle? Malcolm Brogdon? Come on. I mean, if you can't get up for that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Am I right? I get it. And I think it was even harder for the Warriors to get up because most of the game, they were sleepwalking, it felt like. Going through the motions. Flat. Kept seeing on my timeline, flat, flat, flat. Like a surfboard. But, like Kelly Slater, Jonathan Kaminga got on that board and shredded the gnar. Can I see that just more consistently, please? Can he get consistent minutes? It's one thing if you have future Hall of Famers or really good players in front of them or, just elite players that are just burying Kaminga all the way down. The fact of the matter is, you have guys just aren't playing well. And in the closing minutes, where it has slipped away time in and time out, and thank God for Stephen Curry and again, Jonathan Kaminga last night, because in clutch time, they made it happen. But again, it's Stephen Curry and everyone else. Is that good enough? No. I would like the strength in numbers monitor to come back. Strength in numbers, obviously. You go back to the Livingstons, the Iguodalas, hell, Mo Spates, way back when, once upon a time. My guy, Leandro Barbosa. Shout out Pirates of the Caribbean. Can we see that return? Is that what it's going to have to be for this Warriors team to compete this year? A great man once said in a Lincoln commercial, sometimes in order to move forward, you have to go back. And I think that's what the Warriors are going to have to do. They have to look themselves in the mirror, Steve Kerr specifically, and say, you know what? We need to lean on these younger guys more, these young legs, these fresh players that are hungry. They're hungry. I'm not seeing that hunger from the older guys. And that's concerning right now. So, is it time to shake things up a little bit when it comes to the rotations, when it comes to the closing lineups, all of that? 888-957-9570. What would you like to see from last night's game going forward for the Golden State Warriors? 415 on the Comcast Business text line. They appreciated Wham. But 415 thinks the Temptations Silent Night version 2 is the greatest Christmas song ever. From the 707 on the Comcast Business text line, the young guys have to play. If Kerr overworks the veterans and they make the playoffs, then they won't go far. You absolutely need the young guys in there, and now is the time. I agree. Lean on them. We all need somebody to lean on. And right now, Moody has been that guy. I've been very impressed with Brandon Pajemski. I saw him in Summer League out at the Golden One Center when they were doing the California Classic. Always a good time. That's become a yearly tradition with me and young Benjamin. Go to the Cali Classic, whether it's at Golden One or at Chase Center. But we went this past year and saw Pajemski. Not very good. And most of his Summer League was more of that same. But you know what? We went to that first preseason game against the Lakers. I saw a little bit of the ha-ha, as Guru says. He had the ha-ha. He had that quick step. He had that burst. Something that the Warriors desperately needed and still do need right now. Because the old guys are looking old. Wiggins, looking disinterested at times. And again, I used this analogy before, and I'll say it again. When you have an older dog, a veteran, if you will, let's go to like a yellow lab. 12 years old. Ooh, it's getting up there, right? It's a big dog. 12, that's starting to get a little shaky. But studies have been shown, you bring in a little pup, get a little energetic little chihuahua or something. Hey, you might see that lab's life expectancy, whereas before it was getting a little older, a little slower. The energy just wasn't there. The motivation wasn't there. But then you bring in this little puppy. Hey, I'm energized. I feel like I have a purpose again. I feel like want to keep up with those young guys. It extends their lifespan. Can these young guys with the Warriors extend this dynasty lifespan? That's going to be the question. Because that's what happened with the San Antonio Spurs, right? They hit on Kawhi Leonard. That was the guy that expanded it for them. Now, I'm not saying Kaminga is Kawhi Leonard. I'm not saying Moses Moody is him. No, Kawhi Leonard is one of the greatest players of all time. It's a Hall of Famer. But if you could just get, I don't know, a semblance of that production from Moody, Kaminga, and hell, maybe Pajemski, if you can get some of that, insert it, and hoping that Wiggins gets out of his funk, I mean, that's all you can really do, right? You're kind of locked into him. Chris Paul, he's been impressive this year. Limit his minutes. Clay, hey, we know Clay will have a game every now and then. Just hope it's when you really need it. And you know what you're getting from Steph. You know pretty much what you're getting from Draymond. He's outside of the 5-game suspension, all the other antics on the court. He's been pretty good. So can the young guys help push these old dogs, forward and be that motivating factor for them? 888-957-9570. Real quick, one more time. This was the play of the game. Draymond to Kaminga for the alley-oop.
Draymond steps down the lane, lob for Wiggins, or Kaminga, two-hand slam. Jonathan Kaminga at the rim with a dunk. Draymond with a beautiful pass. 105-101.
And you heard from Tom Tolbert there, who was on the call, Tim Roy, and as he is for every single home game. He saw it. And Tom's obviously a former player, but he saw it immediately. The cutting, Draymond looking up top, the alley-oop slams. God, that used to be so fun with the Warriors, right? When they would run up and down the court, they were fast, they were all that. That used to be happening all the time. That layer of athleticism, though, now has gotten a little lost. But you saw it yesterday. You saw what it could be. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't concerns. Again, if you heard me at the top, I have more questions than answers after this game. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, the Warriors got the win ultimately against, a downtrodden Blazers team missing pretty much all of their elite talent, elite in quotations, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, amongst others. Malcolm Brogdon had to leave the game. Shaedon Sharpe, though, I mean, guy was incredible. Do you have to put him on the list of Warriors killers? Shaedon Sharpe. He played every single minute last night, too. Unbelievable. This guy. I'm a big Shaedon Sharpe guy. Kentucky, averaging 18, 5, 3 assists. Okay. Shooting percentage not great. 42.2%. But you know what? On this team, hey, bombs away. Last night, 10 of 18, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. He was crushing it. And 5 assists to boot. We're up against it. The text line's crushing it. YouTube chat's crushing it. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. We're streaming Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. through 7 p.m. right here on 95.7 The Game. Your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. If you're at the game, let me know. Did you get your bobblehead? You got to get that Draymond bobblehead, am I right? Come on. Draymond, to his credit, on the boards, the assist totals, he showed up on bobblehead night. You got to do that if you're a professional. Hell, if you're a broadcaster, got to show up on your bobblehead night. 888-957-9570. Like all of you, show up for me on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, come on back. 95.7 The Game.
Switch to Verizon and you'll save.
Get in the holiday spirit, San Francisco. Verizon has an extra gift for your family this season.
You can save a lot.
Get $800 in Verizon gift cards when you switch your family of 4 and get 4 new phones on.
and mulch. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Last segment here of the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, you guys have been tremendous. I love all of you. Even the haters. 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text. We've been talking Warriors. 110, Blazers 106. Warriors get the dub for Dub Nation last night on Draymond Green bobblehead night. If you're at the game, hit me up. If you weren't at the game, you're at home watching it, like me. I'm a big at-home guy when it comes to watching sport. I love being in person. It's fun. It's exciting. But I get a better vantage point always at home, especially if I'm talking about the game the next morning and I'm always the first one on. At home is the place to go. On the couch, you got the Christmas tree going. If you're Jewish, you got the Hanukkah lights going. If you're celebrating Kwanzaa, got the candles. I need to brush up my Kwanzaa knowledge. I apologize to the community. I need to be better than that. Am I missing a holiday? Let me know. 888-957-9570. We celebrate all holidays here on the pregame show. But you're celebrating, you're chilling, you're relaxing. Even if you don't celebrate, having an eggnog with whatever liquor you're pouring into it. Eggnog, by the way, doesn't do much for me. That's one of the things during the holidays that just, Also, Christmas caroling. Has anyone actually had a Christmas caroler come to their house? Like multiple, I've never seen it in my life. I see it in TV shows, I see it in movies, I see it in commercials. Hell, we play one all the time, this Verizon. Like, I've never seen Christmas carolers go around. I don't think in my life. Like, when they're at like big events and stuff like that, that doesn't count. But like going door to door, never seen that. Now, I've only lived in Oakland 5 or 6 years. Is that a thing? I lived down in the Monterey Peninsula. We didn't eat, not even there. Where you assume all the old white people will be walking around in Pacific Grove. No. They were sleeping probably. Christmas caroling. Has anyone actually had that happen to their house? 888-957-9570. Because I'm calling cap. We're talking young guys with the Golden State Warriors. And again, last night, Jonathan Kaminga was just what they needed. Moses Moody has been what they needed all year long from him. Pajemski's been a nice surprise. Very nice addition for this team. A nice boost of energy when they desperately need it. And Chris Paul, God, they needed him on this team. Where would this team be without Chris Paul and his leadership with the young guys? That's a key to this. And we were talking off air, Shasky, Sam Lubin, Bonte, and all of us. We were talking about the leader of this squad and who's going to be the guy to, coach up these young guys and go forward. And Steve Kerr, if you go through his coaching career, his head coaching arc with the Golden State Warriors, there's players you can say have improved under him, and he'll get the credit for them. I think you give Steve Kerr a tremendous amount of credit for helping fix whatever was wrong, or maybe fix is the wrong word, unlock whatever was inside of Andrew Wiggins, the potential, if you will, to be great for that championship run. Now, can he do that again with him? I'm not sure. I think that's a Wiggins issue. I think it's the mentals. I think it's getting hyped up for game. I don't know what it is with Wiggins right now, but whatever is happening with him is not working. It's not. The guys that I need to be locked in on a night in and night out basis, they're not being locked in. Whether it's mental, physical, I don't know. But I know what I'm getting from Steph. I know what I'm getting from Draymond. Chris Paul, hell, Moody, I'll toss into there. And that's kind of about it. Looney to some extent, but again, Kevon, it's been okay this year. And I love Looney. There's no Looney slander allowed on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. But my main overarching point is maybe it is Chris Paul that needs to be the leader for these young guys, both off and on the court. And he spoke about it yesterday, about Jonathan Kaminga staying ready. He's been impressed with him. And this is an element that the Warriors have not had. And I get it. They had Iguodala, who was a sixth-man role for this team at times. Borderline Hall of Famer. I think he gets in. Everyone gets into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So I'm saying Hall of Famer Andre Iguodala, future. So yes, he was a voice too. But even you saw last year, it was just like, what's going on here? Was he that right voice for Jonathan Kaminga? I don't think so. I think, excuse me, I think Chris Paul is that voice that is desperately needed in this locker room. And going into that in this offseason, when they first made the trade, Jordan Poole by Chris Paul, hello, I think we were all a little shocked. But when he took a deep breath, took a step back, looked at what needed to happen with the Warriors, and Bonte and I talked about this on the beginning of NBA free agency, that maybe the Warriors aren't making a huge move for another superstar. They got Saric, they got Chris Paul. But maybe that next step needs to be taken for Kaminga and Moody for them to be legit championship contenders again. We're seeing it from Moses Moody, and we're seeing flashes of what Kaminga can be. So if they can continue this, and I don't want another DMP, I don't want another 5 or 10 minute Kaminga stint. If they could build off of this with the tutelage of a Chris Paul, Steph, the guys on the court, I'm feeling pretty damn good heading into the stretch here, because let's face it, it's December 7th. In a month now, we're going to be talking trade scenarios. You might think it's still a little early to be talking about that. I'm not sure. They need to start getting on a run here sooner rather than later for me to think otherwise. Are they locked in to Chris Paul? He does have the expiring contract. Klay Thompson, what's going on there? I don't think they're going to trade him, but Dunleavy's a different cat. I don't know. Does he have that loyalty that Bob Myers had to these core, you know? And this is a tough stretch coming up for the Warriors. Thunder tomorrow. Suns on Tuesday. Clippers, who just beat you in dramatic fashion, next Thursday. Then you got the Nets, plucky. Then you got the Blazers again, Celtics, Jordan Poole revenge game perchance. December 22nd, what do the Wizards have, 3 wins? I'm just kidding. Then you got the Blazers, so it cools down a little bit, but specifically the next 4-game stretch is going to be fascinating for this squad. Then you got the Nuggets on Christmas Day, obviously, and Christmas Day is going to be a banner day here at 95.7 The Game. We'll have your coverage of that Warriors game. It's going to be huge. Then we got Niners, Ravens as well. Can't wait for that. Real quick, Anthony Slater, 95.7 The Game Warriors Insider, joined the Morning Roast yesterday. And Anthony feels that this Warriors season is reminding him of another Warriors season. Take a listen.
To me, the court product's a little reminiscent of last season. You know, they're talking about the fouls and the turnovers being an issue. They're, you know, kind of in the middle muck of this crowded Western Conference like they were last year. They don't seem significantly worse than a lot of the teams around them, but they certainly don't seem like they're going to like rattle off, you know, 13 out of 15 wins or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see if there's big personnel changes down the road. To me, that's more of a January, February question, but currently constructed, to me, they just seem like they're going to try to muscle their way into the 5th, 6th range and try to be a dangerous, playoff opponent. And, you know, like kind of like they were last year. I mean, better court chemistry, but to me, is the court product very much better? Not really. If you think this team had the capability of being like a 1-2 seed, like, yeah, it's late early, but it was probably late opening night for this team to be a 1-2 seed. But, I just looked right now. The Mavs and Kings are 5-6 right now at 11-8. That's 3 losses behind, not even a quarter into the season. So, they do have a favorable stretch coming up. They've kind of targeted, not only obviously they played tonight against it. This is, again, you don't want to label anything a must win, but you should take care of the Blazers at home tonight. A lot of home games over the next month or so. Well, again, I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys feel differently about the West, but I do feel like if you win 7 of 10, you're probably climbing up because everybody else is losing, once or twice a week.
Slater there sounds optimistic about a, quote, favorable stretch. I don't think you can say that about any opponent for the Golden State Warriors this year. We just saw that last night. They should have handled that team, theoretically. But we got to stop using this Warriors championship lens right now from a couple of years ago. They're not playing like that. So the game against the Clippers, right? The game against the Thunder tomorrow, against the Suns, those are going to be difficult. The Nets, these young teams that are athletic, which is what the Blazers were last night, are going to give them fits. How do you counter that? Well, how about you play some young guys of your own like they did last night? Warriors 110, Blazers 106 again. The final. Morning Roast up next. Bontail and Joe Shasky, they'll take your calls. 888-957-9570 on this Thirsty Thursday here in the Bay. 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco.